think they're probably a little sleepy right now, if you know what I mean. So joining me...
I don't know what you mean.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Joining me again today is Clark Duke.
We're coming to you from the G4 studios in Los Angeles.
On the show today, it is a never-before-seen shootout when Weston Scott goes to West Virginia, where Blackheart International let him play with their stash of foreign machine guns. Many mannequins suffered for our enjoyment. Then UFC fighter Nate Rock Corey joins the Blairs to predict the outcome of UFC 128 in New Jersey. Will John Jones or Mauricio Shogun Rua be the light heavyweight champion? Well, find out in a never-before-seen MMA chokehold.
Then it's an all-new weekend edition of DVD Day with Chris Gore, who will tell you what docs to rent or buy in a documentary rapid fire. And did you fall in love this week with Bustus? I know I did. The world's bustiest superhero? Then get ready for some never-before-seen bloopers featuring Sarah Underwood. But first, if you want to learn about foreign machine guns, you need to go to West Virginia.
All right.
They really like their guns.
Weston Scott heads to Appalachia to fire off some never-before-seen gun show clips.
So, Eric, can you give me a little bit about the history or maybe the origins of Blackheart and how it started?
Blackheart International, we started back in 1999 after I'd just gotten out of the Special Forces. We were looking at a way to make civilian work, but also still help the military. So we're trying to use our background to improve products and services to the soldiers.
Now it's time to lay waste to some creepy mannequins.
All I'm going to do is just take out these mannequins now, right?
Yep, just use your PTSH to eliminate the threat. It'll make it a little more interesting for you here.
They still didn't fall. Freaking super zombie mannequins. So after getting angry at the first mannequin for not dropping after I freaking lit him up, Eric had his boys go and put a little bit of tannerite in this guy's butt. It's gonna be quite explosive if I hit him in the ass. That's how we do it. What can I expect out of this weapon today while I'm firing it?
Well, today we have the suppressor on it. You know, we're firing a 5.56 cartridge, which is comparable to 223. You know, this is a shortened and improved model of what you had in the Marine Corps.
This is not your normal magazine.
No, this is your AK on steroids, 12 gauge.
You know, you've done a good job if, you know, your assailant walks in two parts.
It's a PKM Russian machine gun, belt fed, 7.62 by 54 Russian.
So I've had a great time here at Blackheart International. Some tannerite, some flaming pants, and foreign weapons. So me and my flaming buddies, we're gonna go grab a cold beer after a great day of shooting. It's the sequel to the Surrogates.
All right, still ahead, we'll check out how your comedy writing is coming along.
This week's ATN on Brock Laws are coming up next.
Very nice.
Thank you very much. The top 4 things on the web this week.
We're going around the net.
Woo! Today's number 4 is proof that not everyone likes boobs. Not everyone likes boobs.
What?
I'm just sharing this. We learned that.
Terra TV captured a horrific collision of silicone and serpents.
Why is it
Thank God he had his super classy 69 jersey on, too.
Her face was really priceless.
Is there a trouser snake joke to be made here, or no?
Well, we're going to find out because we actually asked the audience at home, what species does this snake belong to? That was the question.
And Wild Ride correctly said it's a boa constrictor. Zing!
Dang! She was loving that snake right up until the end.
Yeah. Until it hit her breast. Today's number 3 demonstrates a way to leave your hospital in style and with some new furniture, too.
I mean, of course, you really can't go wrong when you're leaving a medical building to the thumping sounds of the ludicrous ode to mobility. Move, bitch!
I'm waiting for a car to hit him or something. All right, we asked you, where's he rolling to next?
Ben Hamibe said he's on his way back to Del Taco to get his money back.
I can relate. And at number 2 today, more snakes.
Hooray! Thankfully, this serpent clip doesn't need boobs to surprise you.
That's so awful. We asked...
He's just a nice snake. He's just protecting his territory.
All 18 feet of it?
Yeah, exactly.
We asked, what did this snake just eat?
And Shark86 said Owen Wilson. Which I would like to point out makes no sense.
Second most popular answer, penis. To be fair, that's the second most popular answer to every question. But viewers, get it together in time for the next Graflal.
Nicely done.
Thank you. And in at number 1 today, leave it to Russia to make a kids show that's not safe for work.
If any of the human hosts on Blue's Clues wore this outfit, somebody would probably get arrested. About?
It's childhood.
Kittens,
innocence.
Ponies, innocence, exactly. Playing in tree houses.
I think they only had the one take, though, because I think I saw her adjust at one point.
She was trying to keep him in there. It's hard in an outfit like that. So we asked you, what is the name of this kids' show? And Dis4 Delaney says it's called See Some of Me Street.
Oh. It's like Sesame Street. Get it?
Yeah, we get it. Thanks for contributing to get your daily viral fix and to check out all the viral videos we have to offer, and we have a lot to offer. Go to g4tv.com/aroundthenet. And now, if you've ever wanted to play the classic animated game Space Ace, we've got you covered.
Here's a look at that and a Contra spinoff on indie games.
Between all the consoles and add-ons, gaming can be a tad expensive. Luckily, we've rounded up a few downloadable titles that won't kill your wallet. First up, lock and load with the run-and-gun side-scroller Hardcore Uprising. In this Contra spin-off, you must fight soldiers, dodge snipers, and battle giant robots in a struggle to take down an evil dictator. Go it alone or team up with a buddy to earn points that will upgrade your character's stats like life, firepower, and speed. This game is perfect for anyone looking for that old-school Nintendo action. Combat is fierce and enemies are numerous, giving your hand-eye coordination skills a real workout. With 8 levels, hours of gameplay, and tons of unlockable abilities, Hardcore Uprising is a must-have for any would-be soldier. Ready to take down evil? Then pick up Hardcore Uprising on Xbox Live for $15. Now for all you Dragon's Lair fans, rejoice! Its younger brother, Space Ace, has finally made its way to the PS3. In this arcade classic, Dexter, the Space Ace, must save Earth from the evil Commander Borf, who has captured Dexter's girlfriend and is planning on using his Infanto Ray to enslave the planet. The gameplay is simple. You must rely on visual cues to dodge, blast, and jump over hazards, hitting the correct sequence on your controller to avoid death. But the real selling point is the beautiful animation, which has been digitally remastered in glorious 1080p, which means watching the epic space battles and death scenes has never looked better. There are 3 levels of difficulty, but only by playing the hardest setting, Ace, will unlock the game's entire full story. Warp into the future with Space Ace on the PlayStation Network for $10. From the vast reaches of space, we head into the microscopic world with Pixel Junk Shooter 2. In this sci-fi puzzler, you control a tiny vessel that must sweep through the guts of a giant alien slug to save a group of helpless scientists trapped within. Go solo or co-op as you use your blaster to destroy dangerous organisms and your grapple to snag hidden diamonds and stranded victims. And besides the intestinal parasites, there's also environmental puzzles to contend with, like lava streams, gas clouds, and acid pits. Run into volcanic slag, pop a water spout to cool it down. Blocked by some noxious fumes, use the lava to burn through it. Don't let the simple graphics fool you. This game is addictively fun, providing hours of entertainment. Ready to descend into the belly of the beast? Then snag Pixel Junk Shooter 2 on the PlayStation Network for 10 bones. So whether it's space battles, giant robots, or even alien slugs, we've got all the latest games that won't break the bank.
UFC fighter Nate Troy joins our resident MMA nerds to break down the beatdowns at UFC 128 in this never-before-seen interview.
And later, Bustus returns!
Hooray!
And this time she's bringing her blooper reel, and that is not a euphemism for anything.
That's too bad.
Yeah, kind of.
Hey, offenders. Attack of the Show posted my bail and sent me to Venice Beach, California to offer people sex advice. So strap on your rollerblades and let down your Speedos. This is Sex Man on the Beach.
So my boyfriend won't throw away pictures of his past ex-girlfriends. He says it's part of the path that led him to me. Should I believe him? Is that bullshit?
There's a perfectly reasonable explanation for him hanging on to pictures of old girlfriends. He's a serial killer, and those are his trophies. Now, don't flip out. Here are some things you could look for. Does he wear sunglasses to cover his dead, almost mannequin-like eyes? Does he wear a pencil-thin mustache? A comb-over? Is he wooden? Does he have an alcohol problem? Listen, I don't feel safe talking about it out in the open like this. Do you want to come back to my safety van? Like I always say, if I can touch just one person down there, it's been worth it. Everything else is just the sauce from that. I'll see you next time, as I'm in your...
Where's the crunch? Where's the crunch?
All the news you need to know. Feed.
Hi, I'm Andy Allo. It's Friday, March 18th, and here are your top stories. NASA wants to shoot space junk with freaking lasers! Woo! Space missions have left a lot of litter floating around the cosmos. Now the NASA Ames Research Center has a Star Wars-like solution. Researchers speculate that it would only cost $1 million to create a test laser that would shoot down the trash. And that price tag is pretty minimal when you consider that if floating debris collides in space, it could take out satellites or even manned space flights. So we at AOTS are 100% behind anything that allows people to shoot freaking space lasers. Yes. Last year, a college student named Aaron Toby was arrested for stripping down to his tighty-whities at a TSA security checkpoint. His protest also included scrawling the Constitution's Fourth Amendment across his chest. Of course, the Fourth Amendment is the one law that outlaws unreasonable searches and seizures. Since then, misdemeanor charges against him have been dropped, but now the student is suing Homeland Security, the TSA, and the airport. He's seeking $250,000 in damages. I know, though he was still able to catch his flight on time. Lame. And finally, scientists have created a mind-controlled backpack for roaches. Yes! In the Did We Really Need That department, a team of U.S. inventors for a new company called Backyard Brains proudly unveiled the Robo Roach. It's a remote control for La Cucaracha, developed using a kid's toy called the Hex Bug. Basically, the backpack sends electrical impulses to bugs that make them turn left or right. So, while it sounds silly, researchers say the remote and backpack combo could help scientists study, quote, mysteries of neurons and action potentials, or just make roaches run around in a circle. I'm Andy Allen. You've just been fed. And now back to Clark and Morgan.
For some reason, Attack of the Show reviewed the iPad 2.
And it's odd because I think we should be honest. Gadgetron could tell you it causes warts, and you would still buy it.
Now that Apple has changed the world of tablet computing with the iPad, they're trying to make it the best it can be with the iPad 2. Thinner and lighter than ever, this tablet runs hundreds of thousands of apps from the iTunes Store and at super fast speeds because of a dual-core A5 processor. Front and rear cameras are also included, so be the first to get the second for $500.
Here it is.
Magical.
The iPad 2.
Magical and evolutionary, everybody.
So exciting.
Now, it really is thinner than the iPhone 4.
I didn't believe you until just now.
Look,
and
there it
I
is.
just now believed you.
It's also about 30% thinner than the original iPad. Now, a lot of people didn't like how heavy the first iPad was, so this one is about 4 ounces lighter. So is this easier to hold for a long period of time?
Yeah, 4 ounces easier. It is, which, by the way, is noticeable. I know when this was dropped off, I picked it up and went, oh, holy hell, that is a little bit lighter.
Well, I think it just feels lighter because it's thinner.
And it's 4 ounces lighter. I mean, those two things combined make this feel lighter and thinner than the original iPad. But no, again, it is, holding it for lengthy periods of time, it is a little more comfortable, and it did make me a little sad when I had to go back to my original iPad.
Yeah. Do you think the smart cover is worth $40 or $70 for the leather one?
Do you think the Genius Sheet is good for making your tech device go sleepy time?
I hate this.
Look, when we saw this thing announced, we had little nerd-ons for it. We were really good to go over it because you slap it on, it has magnets, and it just sticks to the cover. Yeah, there we go. And it will stick to it and put it to sleep.
It's
and then
cool in theory.
If you peel it back, it'll wake it up. And so we saw that. You could even do one of these bad boys with it. Hold on, check this out.
Look at that bad boy.
Oh, look, I'm iPadding. But guess what?
It falls off.
It falls off. It's flimsy. When you're holding it, it sort of flaps around, and you kind of do this. And when it does fall off, I almost dropped the iPad 2 3 or 4 times because of this case.
Yeah. And it's very scary. And I like the other case because it protects the back as well.
A lot of people are saying that as well. So listen.
So if you drop it, you're screwed.
Kudos to Apple for selling these things for like $40 and $70, which this is only like $1 worth of material. So kudos, but stay away. If you're getting the iPad,
just
find another case.
Throw it on it.
Yeah. Oh, it's magical. Revolutionary. I launched Google Maps. That's cool.
Now, the dual-core processor is supposed to make it twice as fast and provide up to 9 times better graphics when you're playing games.
And it is noticeably faster. We'll give it that.
Yes.
Launching applications, loading web pages, it's definitely quicker than the original, which we expected. But the system itself is also, if I may, peppier. Yeah,
Ooh,
you know, it's a
how
little
so?
pep in there. Some games are already optimized for the iPad 2, like Infinity Blade and Real Racing 2. They look and play fantastic. The extra horsepower lets them do some anti-aliasing and some tricks that make games look better. And they really lend to the credence and to the claim that the iPad is a full-fledged gaming device. In addition to the e-reading and the internet tableting and the instant messaging and whatnot, this thing is a full-fledged handheld gaming device.
Now, apps like iMovie and GarageBand are designed for the iPad 2 because of its speed.
And they're killer apps, honestly.
They are.
Yeah.
I just tried them for my first time.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I love them both.
Yeah, I
really
agree.
Fun.
iMovie
Really
runs
cool.
better than it did on the iPhone 4, and the larger screen is really what makes this app a useful tool. It wasn't the easiest thing on the iPhone small screen, but here you can really pinch and zoom, really edit
Oh,
the
is that
photos
your
of your wiener dog.
dog?
No, it's a guest from hell at best.
You're so mean.
The GarageBand app, though, is a ton of fun on the iPad. The instruments are pressure sensitive to your touch. You can make and edit tracks just like you would on a Mac. Apple's doing a really good job of loading these things with applications that would make other tablets a little jealous.
Now, we finally get front and rear facing cameras on the iPad, so do they take great pictures like the iPhone 4?
No, not really. They just don't. The rear camera takes good enough pictures. It does record 720p video, but it's not even close to the quality of the iPhone 4. It also doesn't have a flash, which is a bummer because another little tablet that we love
Why
called
do you
the
think
Zoom
they did
does.
that?
To give you a reason to hate yourself when the iPad 3 comes out. That's all it is. That's what they do. The Photo Booth app is fun to screw around with, just like it is on any other desktop or any other MacBook.
I'm in love with the Photo Booth.
Yeah, a lot of people have fun with this one. I just wish they included more filters or something else, because it seems like the same app that we always get. The front camera is only VGA quality, but of course it works fine with FaceTime, and we like FaceTiming on the iPad more than the iPhone, just because of the huge screen. I mean, it's like you're holding a giant communication device, which is fun.
Yeah. Now, Apple also added video output, but you gotta buy an HDMI adapter for an extra $40.
Again.
Should we get that?
A nickel's worth of material, and they're charging $40
but it's
for
Apple.
it. It's ridiculous, and they can get away with it, and it's actually kind of cool. Everything you do on the iPad 2 is mirrored through the HDMI, whereas before, the original iPad would only have video out on certain applications. So you had to launch the app, press a button, and then maybe it would support video out. This thing gives you 1080p, up to 1080p output, no matter what you're doing, which is cool. If you're an educator or if you want to use it as a media center, it's a really good idea to grab one.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it's only 40. I mean, $40 is expensive, but to do all
this
that.
is nothing.
No, I know,
this is
but I'm
5 cents
saying,
and tiny
to be
Chinese
able to do all
hands
that,
putting it
it's kinda
together.
cool.
That's all this is. It's not $40.
All right, well, the price hasn't changed, so it's still $500 for the 16 gig.
Do you think this was made in Cupertino? No.
Can I finish?
Please, sorry.
It's still $500 for the 16 gig Wi-Fi version. What's our rating,
So here's the
Mr.
thing.
Pereira?
It's missing a couple of things. The iPad 2 doesn't have some things that the Zoom has. There's no camera flash, which is a bummer. Still no Adobe Flash support. It's never going to happen.
Never.
Well, it will with some software hacks, but never with Apple support. And no expandable storage. So that's a bummer. With that said, at $500, it's still the...
That's a really fat drum roll. Let me try that again.
I thought you were having a seizure. I really thought you might have been seizing. At $500, it's still the best tablet on the market, 5 out of 5.
Yay! I love 5 out of 5.
I want to point this out. Original iPad owners do not need to upgrade, but if you waited to buy, now is the time. The iPad 2 is pretty sweet. There you
Upgrade.
go.
I will not upgrade.
There you have it.
All right, stay tuned. Fist meets faces in an all-new, never-before-seen MMA chokehold.
The UFC fighter Nate Coy run down UFC 128 up next. Earlier, our resident Blair's Butler and Herder sat down with UFC fighter Nate Rock Quarry.
Here's their breakdown of UFC 128 in this never-before-seen MMA chokehold.
Let's welcome Nate Rock Quarry and Blair Butler, everybody.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Nice shirt, sir.
Thank you very much. My Zombie Cage Fighter shirt, as always.
Mm-hmm. And dropping it right here, right now, an exclusive on Attack of the Show, launching this company right here in the show.
First time it's been seen.
All right, great. Do we have to pay you now to clear that, or are you going to give us the first one for free?
We'll work something out.
Sounds good, man. All right, guys, on to the fights. First up, Uriah Faber versus Eddie Wineland. Now, their height and reach are practically the same, so there shouldn't be too much of a size advantage here. Both of these guys have been fighting for about 8 years professionally, but Faber has definitely fought the tougher opponent. Now, their styles are also very similar, so we should expect a slugfest here. Nate, some people have said Uriah Faber's on the decline, so how can he prove them wrong?
Well, Faber, now this is his second fight at 135, making the big debut into the UFC. He's got to parlay that momentum, take it up to a title shot.
How different is it to fight in the UFC? You said this is his first fight in the UFC, but obviously a much different kind of environment than the WEC fights.
You get the UFC jitters. That's just the way it is. The cage is bigger, the crowd is bigger. You know you're being seen by millions of people around the world. So you'll see a lot of guys that can be devastating fighters over in Pride, over in Japan, anywhere else, but they come to the UFC and they're just never able to perform.
Right. And Blair, on the other hand, how's Eddie Wineland going to beat a guy who, at one time, I mean, not only put on some of the best fights ever in the WEC, but a lot of people consider him to be the toughest guy in the WEC.
Right. Okay. Well, Eddie Wineland was the WEC's first bantamweight champion, so he's fighting at his natural weight class, and he has really solid stand-up. That's kind of been his bread and butter, is picking guys apart. He's got KO power, and what he really needs to watch is the takedowns. He needs to have really solid takedown defense, because when fights have gone to the ground with him, sometimes he's had some trouble in the past. On the plus side, he's unpredictable and sometimes unpredictably devastating, as in his last fight, because he's on a 4-fight win streak, when he body slammed a man literally into the afterlife. Like, it was so brutal that they really don't re-air it. It was a devastating slam. So, Uriah Faber may want to watch out if he's going for a submission and Eddie Wineland picks him up. That might be a good time to jump off and run.
Okay. Which I personally would love to see happen in an MMA fight. So Blair, who wins this?
I have to give it to Faber.
Faber! All right.
Uriah Faber looked really good in his first fight at 135. I think he's going to take this.
Okay, and Nate, I've never been wrong on this show, Corey.
It's true. 100% of my appearances here on Chokehold, I've been right. So
it's true. Me, not so much.
Not everyone can say that. In the interest of keeping things going here with our little feud, I'm going to choose Wineland.
Oh, Wineland. All right. I like it. And on to, obviously, the fight everybody's talking about, Shogun versus Jon Jones. The winner taking home the light heavyweight title. Now, Jon Jones, we've talked about in the past. I mean, where did he get these arms? They're not even, it's like Mr. Potato Head arms. They're 8 inches longer than Shogun's arms. Shogun, however, been fighting for almost 10 years professionally, fought for numerous titles. Jon Jones, only about 3 years of experience. Both these guys are world-class athletes, really the top of their game right now. So this fight could be on the ground, it could be on their feet. Butler, it seems like Shogun has finally hit his stride here in the UFC. So how can he silence those critics that are all looking for Jones to take this fight?
The key is he destroyed Lyoto Machida. He picked him apart with strong stand-up, and Lyoto Machida was the guy that never got hit. He destroyed him with leg kicks, and I think we're going to look to see Shogun employ those same techniques, trying to get inside to take it to Jon Jones on the feet. What he really needs to watch are the takedowns, because Shogun has not been great with takedown defense. Jon Jones will take people to the ground and smash them. The sort of ace in the hole there for Shogun is he does have great Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills.
Right. And Nate Jones, the guy who, like Anderson Silva, people still have not figured out how to beat him, because not only does he win every fight, but he wins them in the most different ways possible every single time. So how does he defeat a guy like Shogun? What is he pulling out this time? Is he bringing an actual weapon into the octagon?
He's got it all. You've got somebody with 84-inch arms who's got a ridiculous wrestling game with the judo throws and trips and just straight up American freestyle wrestling. So when you've got a stand-up fighter who needs to get to the inside against these knuckle-dragging arms, as soon as he gets inside, immediately tripped and put on his back. That's a long day for anybody.
Right.
Jones has got so many weapons here. His elbows have longer reach than most people's jabs.
Right.
He's going to be devastating, and he's shown over and over again, once you go to the ground, if you're on the bottom against Jones, those elbows come slicing down Ginsu style.
Right. He doesn't care if he gets disqualified. He will try to finish you on the ground regardless of whether or not.
I have seen him hammer through a guy's skull and then take out a tomato and slice it cleanly.
Wow. I like that.
Devastating.
I like that. Well, then who do you have? I think I know the answer. But
I got to go with Jones on this one.
Yeah? All right. Milady?
I think John Jones.
All right.
And if he's not the light heavyweight champion this time, he will be in the future, but I think he will be this time.
All right. Again, I'm not supposed to agree, but... Yeah. All right, we're going to find out who's right this weekend at UFC 128. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show.
And now it is time to take a look at some criminal t-shirts.
Here's an illegal edition of Threads.
Every great hero needs a greater villain. And while we're not saying evil is good, sometimes it's fun to be the bad guy, especially with these latest threads. First up, kneel before the dark side with this sinister corporate clothing from the guys over at Last Exit to Nowhere. Whether it's Skynet from The Terminator, Initech from Office Space, or Weyland Yutani from Alien, they've got corporate apparel from all of the villainous companies that you love to hate. There's even caps and hoodies inspired by classic horror films like The Thing, Jaws, and The Shining. But if that's too much evil for you, then don't worry. There's plenty of heroic tees from movies like The Karate Kid and Back to the Future. There's even this Ghostbusters tee that glows in the dark. Are you feeling insidious? Then swing by lastexittonowhere.com and snag a tee for about 29 bones. Now, if fictional evil isn't your thing, then check out the criminal-themed streetwear dropping over at Deadline. As part of their Spring 2011 line, they've launched a series of tees inspired by historic moments in the Mafia's past, from the Black Hand Gang of the 1900s to a mugshot of the mobster Lucky Luciano. There's also a tee with the word Omerta dripping in blood, which is the Mafia's code of silence. But the best may be this simple shot of Al Pacino from The Godfather 2, right before the famous kiss of death. You broke my heart, Fredo. All of these tees are available in black, white, or gray, so head on over to DeadlineLTD.com and snag a shirt for $28. From the streets, we head to Sesame Street? Well, if you've ever wondered what a zombified Bert and Ernie would look like, you're in luck, thanks to the guys at 604 Republic. They specialize in shirts that twist all of your favorite icons, from an old grizzled Mario to Dexter's Toolkit to a pair of Smurfs fighting off their undead brethren. They've also got Star Wars tees, like this Watchmen-inspired Stormtrooper shirt and the Death Star dressed up as, well, death. However, the coolest tee might be this mashup between Battlestar Galactica and the Muppets. So say we all. If you like demented takes on all of your pop culture favorites, then pick up a tee at 604republic.com for $19. So there you have it, mobsters, evil corporations, and zombies. The dark side may not be stronger, but damn if it don't look good.
You can get 20% off at DeadlineLTD.com with the discount code AOTS until March 28th.
An all-new weekend edition of DVD Day with Chris Gore is coming up next.
And get ready to have your funny boners tickled by some never-before-seen Bustis outtakes. Stick around.
Fail. You're dead. Major fail. Fail. Good. Fail, 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 fail. You lose.
And now, a hot chick silently judges you.
Coming up Monday on an all-new Attack of the Show. Being Human's villainous vampire, Mark Pellegrino, is sinking his fangs into us live. Then we'll take the iPad's addictive GarageBand app for a spin on musical playtime. See it Monday. Sorry, Tuesdays, you have to learn to share. It's an all-new weekend edition of DV Tuesday. All right, everybody, welcome back. Film expert Chris Gore.
Thank you, folks. Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, what did you bring us first?
The first film we have is The Tillman Story. Now, this movie, if you don't already know, Pat Tillman was in the NFL, and right after 9/11, he actually quit this lucrative contract to actually go serve in the military in Afghanistan.
And so there actually was a little bit of controversy about his story. So what are we actually learning that wasn't public knowledge already?
Well, I mean, the one thing that everybody knows is he was killed in action. At first, he was declared a hero, but what actually happened was he was killed in friendly fire, and the military tried to cover it up. And then, worse, they really tried to use him as kind of a way to popularize the war. Like, look at this hero from the NFL. And he was a guy that was a very private person in real life, and including his family. And finally, his family just got fed up and just wanted to have him stop being used as kind of this propaganda tool.
So this is actually told from his family's point of view.
Right.
And what is their perspective on it? I mean,
They wanted the real memory of him to be preserved and not be used as a way to kind of promote the war.
Right.
So, I mean, when you really find out who this guy was, he was like a super Boy Scout. So it's tragic, it's horrific, it's a documentary I really feel like everyone should see.
And special features?
The commentary on it, which is awesome by the director, where he talks about the original title of the film, which he wanted to call the movie I'm Pat Tillman, which I think would have been a great title, but I think, in a moment of sober-mindedness, he decided to just call it The Tillman Story, which I think the other title might not have been as popular.
Right. Not as Walmart-friendly, perhaps.
Yes, exactly.
All right, bottom line.
Bottom line is, absolutely make sure you see this movie, rent it, The Tillman Story. Brave American, whose real memory should be preserved.
All right, what's the next DVD?
The next DVD is The Aristocrats.
Maybe not something as serious
Right,
as
exactly.
Pat Tillman's story.
Yeah.
And so give some, the general idea of this movie.
Well, The Aristocrats is really a documentary about one joke, but it's the world's dirtiest joke. And the beginning and the ending of the joke is exactly the same. It's, this family comes in to a talent agency for an audition. And then what happens in the middle of the joke is something that every comedian in the world kind of makes up their own version of. And it's the most vile, disgusting, grotesque thing you've ever heard out of the mouths of some of the most mainstream comics.
Okay, so who's your favorite mainstream comic?
I think my favorite, who tells the joke on it, like Gilbert Gottfried's in this, Jon Stewart, Andy Dick, Bill Maher, but the best one I think is Bob Saget, because you think, oh, Bob Saget, the TV's dad on Full House, saying the most vile stuff that I cannot repeat. It's disgusting. It's horrific. It involves lots of lubrication. And you can't see Bob Saget saying this stuff, but all it is it's a bunch of talking heads and these comedians telling this horrible joke and the history of the joke. And it's one of those docs where if I'm depressed, if I've seen kind of a depressing documentary, I love to throw this thing on and watch it. Just introduce people to this joke, which is actually a joke amongst comedians.
So the Pat Tillman Story and The Aristocrats, they kind of go together.
Perfect double feature. Double feature.
What is the bottom line?
Bottom line is on The Aristocrats, buy it.
All right.
We all need good laughs.
All right, so I think we should, of course, we need to stick with the documentary theme.
Yes.
And we should do a rapid fire.
Rapid fire?
Yes. With some of your top documentaries. All right, I need to get 35 seconds on the clock.
35, okay.
Ready?
Yes.
All right,
go. You've got Aliens of the Deep, directed by James Cameron. Might give you a little insight into Avatar 2. American Pimp. I like to think of myself as one. Great documentary. And then Super High Me, our very own Doug Benson. Love Doug Benson. This doc, he basically gets high every day for 30 days. Let's see what happens. And we've got Wordplay with Jon Stewart, which is a documentary about obsession with crossword puzzles in a crossword puzzle competition. Then we've got Who Killed the Electric Car? Awesome documentary about... And then Lost in La Mancha. If you're a fan of Terry Gilliam, you've got to see this thing. It's about a movie that he tried to make and fell apart. Grizzly Man, directed by Werner Herzog.
Thank you, Chris.
William S.
No, you're done.
I'm never going to make it.
He gets so excited. Thanks, Chris. Now for more Gore, all you have to do is follow him on Twitter at @ThatChrisGore. Get it all organized?
Yeah.
We'll go back to Clark.
Sarah Underwood has big secrets. When she's not feeding you the news on attack, she is the superhero Bustus. Here's the naughty sketch that trended on Twitter and some never-before-seen bloopers. Yeah.
Shut up and give me that point.
Put down that bag!
Which one?
Didn't your mother ever teach you to respect your elders?
Yeah!
Oh, bless you, Bustus! Bless your giant... heart.
No need to thank me, ma'am. I was just doing my job. Now, if you excuse me, I got some shopping to do.
Yeah!
Store brands, probably the same.
We love you, Bustus!
I love you too, citizen. Hi.
Hi, Miss Bustus, isn't it? It is Miss?
Actually, it's just Bustus.
Oh, right. Hello.
Do you need a lozenge?
No, I'm just shoplifting.
Excuse me?
You know, stealing from the store. I'm putting stuff in my pants and my jacket, then trying to leave. It's pretty illegal. Guess you're just gonna have to beat me up or something.
Sir, you really should put that food back. I don't want to have to hurt you.
No, I like stealing way too much. You're just gonna have to detain me.
So be it.
Yes! Disable me.
I've alerted authorities, sir. They're going to be here to pick you up in a few minutes.
What the hell? What, you're not gonna smother me?
No need, citizen. You've been busted.
Yeah!
Hey, I'm up here.
Wait, but you sat on that other guy.
Bustus 1, scene 1D, take 1.
Oh, bless you, Bustus. Bless your giant, heart.
I'm sorry. Put down that bag.
Which one?
Bustus 1, scene 1C, take 1. Okay, we'll wait for this phone. There we go.
The covered?
Yeah, I don't see it now. Okay. Trust is K.
Good.
Still rolling.
Action.
I'm sorry.
I just don't get this baloney.
All right, one more time.
Phone ringer, please.
Your battery's about to go, by the way.
We can get through this take.
Still speeding.
All right,
Still
here we
speeding.
Yeah! Yeah!
No!
Yeah!
What? No!
That's a wrap.
Thanks so much to Clark for hosting with me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Stick around. Cop starts right now.